Please keep it going for Shannon.
Rather like Mike, I had a very sheltered childhood, a very unusual childhood. It was the sort of childhood where myself and my friends loved to hang out with our parents. Our ideal night was to drink mead underage, honey wine, while reading Beowulf aloud around an open fire. So when I went to college, I thought, oh my gosh, I'll be meeting the normal world, the usual world. Well, freshman year, we had a Beowulf reading in my room. I discovered that my roommate was rather conservatively minded. I went to all of 2 parties and drank 2 glasses of wine. I thought, I am not succeeding here. I am not meeting the usual world. I have just brought my unusual world with me. And then I went to drama school in London, and I thought, okay, this is across the water. This is a step away. I'm going to experience something really different. I'm going to have cheap beer. I'm going to know what it is to flirt with people in bars, because I am legal here, and it's going to be interesting. So I meet all my new friends. We get to know each other, and we decide to play a drinking game while watching Clue. We drank Foster's beer. It was cheap, it was gross. I'll admit I had very tiny sips because I thought, wow, Mrs. Peacock, who was my character that I was supposed to drink for, she's kind of silly and she'll probably make me drink a lot during this movie. And we get to the end of the movie, and one of our wonderful new friends who lives in downtown London realizes that the tube is no longer running and he has nowhere to stay. And gosh, I'm like, well, I have this highly unusual roommate who I thought, maybe she's a little more normal than me because she smokes a lot of pot. And she's very chill. She started hanging out with a Hungarian guy who also smokes a lot of pot. And we were living in a hostel. I was getting very nervous that we would get kicked out. So she was very kind and started staying with him, and I never saw her. And I thought, well, Jeremy, you could probably crash in her bed. She's from Northern California. She's a hippie. She doesn't bathe very often, but the sheets get changed every day, and she would never mind. This was my version of normal and usual. So Jeremy's like, that's a great idea, because we don't want to figure out the night bus system right now. So he comes, he sleeps in the bunk above mine. And I wake up at 3 a.m. to the sound of the door closing. And I open my eyes and I see her feet going up the ladder. And I have to decide whether to say something, and I don't say anything. And now Jeremy told this story later. He suffers from a form of paralysis when he immediately wakes up. And he can't speak, and for a little while he can't move. Well, he woke up to being kissed fully on the mouth, very passionately. And then the soft words, honey, did you make that vegetable risotto we talked about? Which I heard from my bunk. He didn't know what to do. And dear Angela was like, are you okay? And finally he thought of opening up his flip cell phone and shining it on his face to show her just who he was. And just as I predicted, she was fine with it. She went, oh, I didn't think you were this person. You're not who I thought you were. But do you need to stay here? Because if you do, you can. I have somewhere else to go. And she tiptoed off to the roof. And I thought, wow, this is my version of the usual life. Well, wouldn't you know, about 1 month later in drama school, we did a very funny play called The Man of Mode, and those two played star-crossed lovers.
Shannon, everybody.